But definitely you must have seen her pictures and the variety, forms in those pictures also. She was a very lively person, very lively soul, always enthusiastic, and always would like to entertain all Baba's children who would come from far away or from Bharat in every possible way. Never ever have I ever seen her sulking in this Brahmin life. She was always fused with the power of zeal and enthusiasm in every action. From morning Murli, or I would say from Amrit Vela, because always, every day at Amrit Vela, when Dadi would come to the history hall, especially, she would sit there at the back. And from that moment, as if she was always merged in Baba, I would say. And Baba was merged in her eyes every now and then. The one thing that I always admired about Dadiji was that whenever myself or Shiluben, we used to conduct the Raj Yoga camps and bring some guest to meet Dadi. In front of the Dadi, in front of everyone, Dadi would always say, whenever she wanted to give any direction or anything, say anything to us, she would say, Usha Ben, Shilu Ben, you have to. So one day I said, Dadi, you should not call us Usha Ben or Shilu Ben. We are so younger to you. You have the authority. You can tell us or just give us direction. Usha, you should do this or do that. And she said, no. Because you are giving them courses, we are giving them we are conducting the meditation camps. They have so much of honor and respect for you. And if I just call you by names, they would also lose that respect. So whatever action I will do, others will also have more honor and respect for you. This is what my duty is. So then I learned that, giving respect to the younger ones also enables us to move forward. And I learned this from Dadi, that although she was the authority, Baba had given her all sorts of authorities, but still she would give respect even to the youngest one. And that time when I came to Madhuban, I was the youngest of all. And she would still give that much of respect in front of others, that it would make us feel so great, So this is what she was in practical life. Not only that, but seeing the specialities of each and every child. When I came to Madhuban, I was like completely switched off, that now my role has changed. On the center, when I was in Hyderabad or when I was in Bombay, my role was different. My role was to give, courses to the management staff and conduct the SSML trainings and give knowledge to the executives and meet people. That was my role. But now that I have become Madhuban Nivasi, now my role has changed. So I completely switched off myself from giving trainings of SML. I thought, no, that is not my role now. That is over. And now being a Madhuban Nivasi, so during that time, Brian Bhai and Mark Bhai had come to give the training to the sisters in India. So one day Dadi just called me and said, are you going to attend this training? So I said, no, I have not registered my name for this training. And she said, why? Why not? So I just became blank and I couldn't say anything in front of Dadi. I said, why have we not registered? So I said, Dadi, I thought it is not for me. So she said, no, you have to sit. You have to do this training. So I said, okay, but now the registration is closed. So she said, no, how can it get closed? So immediately she called Sashiben and said, call Yogini and tell her that from Madhuban, Usha will be sitting in this training. So when she called Yogini Ben, and then Yogini Ben said, but the registration is over and we have printed material only for that many who are attending the training, no extra. So she said, no, you have to either photo state that and give one file to her as well. Anyway, then I said, just to please Dadi, let me go and attend the training. But I know my role is not that. Because I had completely made my mind blank. So when the training began, so I sat behind and took down some notes, not realizing that after going back from Gyan Sarovar to Madhuban, Dadi is going to ask me, so what did you listen today? And she said, okay, you tell me whatever happened in the training today, whole day, you tell me everything. So then I had this thought that I didn't listen to everything with that concentration, with that attention. Still, whatever I recollected, I told her. And then I realized that from tomorrow she's going to ask me every day. Every day she would sit with me and say, today, what happened? You tell me. Then after the training was over, she said, Usha, I have a thought. Why don't you give this training in Hindi to all the Madhuban Nivasis? And I said, but Dadi, I have not prepared the notes. I said, so what? Whatever you told me, why can't you tell them? And then I said, okay, so every day night class from 9 to 10, this was announced that in Hindi, Ushaben will be giving this training to all Madhuban Nivasis. And I thought nobody would turn up, it will be just the Sevadharis who normally sit in the class, in the late evening class. So I said, okay, and then what I see that in the meditation hall, all the Maharathis, Chandras Babuji, Mrutyunjay Bhai, and everyone was sitting there because Dadi had given the direction to everyone. Everyone should attend this training. And like, I didn't have any slides to show, just the whiteboard and the pen, and I started. And the Sevadaris who would come, they were asked to sit behind if the place was there, all the Madhuban Nivasis in front. And that day the courtyard was completely empty. No one was there. So Dadi was so happy. Said, how long is this training going to go on? I said, Dadi, 1 week? She said, no, continue. Continue for 15 days at least. This is the first time I'm seeing Madhuban Nivasis, residents, attending the night class. Otherwise, they're all round walking here and there and sitting, and they don't attend class. So every day night class they will attend, and seeing their presence, I'm so happy that I feel that you should continue this training. Let it go as far as it goes. And afterwards, she would also take reports from the brothers and sisters, especially from the brothers, Madhuban Nivasis. So what did you learn today? And they would also say, this is what we have learned. So saying that, one day she called me and said, let me teach you what Baba's management was. And she gave me a class on what Baba's management was. And that was so precious for me. How Baba used to manage. And she told me alone. I realized no one was with me at that time, sitting with Dadi. And she started sharing so many things about Baba and how he managed himself and how he managed the yajna and how he managed the children. I learned so many things from that. And then one day, it happened so that the teachers used to come for their accounts checking. And during that time in the accounts, the staff was less. So 2, 3 sisters were attended at one time. And the rest were all sitting in meditation hall for their number to come. Then she said, why don't you teach the sisters? Give them a class. They are sitting doing nothing there. And they are constantly under pressure. What will Ramesh Bhai say after seeing our account? So you give them this training. So each batch, each zone that of the teachers that would come for 1 week for the getting their accounts audited, he asked me to give them this training. And I hardly realized at that time that this was becoming a part and parcel of it was like going into my each and every vein. It was like becoming by heart. And that is how she made me perfect in that training. And after that, one day in one of uh, um, at one time, the vice president of Godrej, he happened to come to Mount Abu. The sister from Bombay, she brought him there. And when he met Dadi, she said to that vice president, you know one thing, we have one sister who gives self-management trainings. And I would like that she comes to your company because Baba always remembers Godrej locks. So she comes there and she gives a training there. And then she calls me, come here. You have to go to Godrej and give them this training. This vice president has also agreed. So he said, yes, she can come. And then she said, you go. But I said, Abdi, I have no slides or nothing. So what? You have 1 or 2 days. After 2 days you are leaving, you can prepare those slides. You can do this. She was like bringing that speciality which I had, which was there, I hardly realized in me, but she was like blossoming. And then, day and night, I sat down to prepare those slides, the overhead projector slides at that time. And then, she said, you go, 3 days you give the training, and the 4th day I'll be there. And I thought Dadi would not come. But as soon as I finished the training, 3 days, at the end of the 3rd day, she was there in Bombay. And she came to the company and she asked the brothers and sisters who attended the training, so how did you feel this? She got the feedback to see whether whatever I have said or given them, was it appropriate or not? This is how she used to bring out that speciality, that quality in each and every one. And she made the lives. Then she would say, you go to companies now and give this training. Because I've listened to the feedback of the professional people as well, and they have appreciated, so you go. And this is how, in India, mostly all of the companies I have been, and whenever I would say, I've got an invitation from, go, she would never stop. She would say, go. So, From nothing, a clay, she would shape that person. This is this was her ability. And she never felt as if I don't want her to come in front. No. You have to move ahead, even go ahead of us. I have been traveling with Dadi many a times to different places. And on the way also I saw how she would prepare herself from Baba's Murli. Wherever she had to go and give lectures or classes or anything, she would just read the Murli, prepare herself on the basis of that Murli, and would take out the depth of the Murli and give it into in that class. And I would realize how from one Murli she had extracted so much. That was her ability to think and give the importance of Baba's Murli and knowledge to all the souls. Once it happened so that I don't know what was the cause, but she started bleeding. The whole, wherever we went, she was continuously bleeding because one of her nerves here got, she said that in the childhood, she had hurt somewhere here in the nose, and they had just sealed that nerve because it was bleeding. But that seal broken off, so the bleeding would not stop. It was constantly bleeding, and I was like continuously holding cotton or um, kerchiefs, one after the other, and it was continuously bleeding. But after all that bleeding also, she went into class. We used to put ice on her head, and for some time it would stop. And then when we came to Bombay after Pune and other places, we came to Bombay, and then she was taken to the hospital, and again it was sealed. And after getting it sealed, but normally people feel so weak after so much of bleeding, they feel so weak. But still, she was ready for Baba's service. She said, why should the brothers and sisters get deprived from getting the knowledge or from getting meeting? So she would go. And at one place, there was an um, international gathering on a subject on speaking on Hinduism. And that was my first time because I had never read any Hindu scriptures or not done any study of any Hindu scriptures or mythology or anything. And this conference was in Pune. But because Dadi was bleeding so badly, then Dadi called me and said, why don't you go in my place and speak on Hinduism? And I said, Dadi, I have no idea what I have to speak. And she said, just go and Baba would be with you and Baba would make you speak. You just be an instrument. Go in my place. And seeing her faith, I went to that place and really, I just completely surrendered my mind and intellect to Baba and said, Baba, whatever you want me to speak in front of them, you make me speak now. And I don't remember what I spoke at that time. But afterwards, people were like coming up. I just spoke on spirituality, that's it. But people were coming up and asking me more and more about it. What you said, this. They were trying to remind me, but I hardly remembered what points I had given. So when Baba says in the Murli, when I see that the child is Buddhu and is not up to the level, then Baba himself speaks through that instrument also. You have to surrender. This is one of my greatest experience, and Dadi gave me that experience, because if Dadi would have gone, I would never have got this experience. But how Baba comes and speaks through you, that was the experience that I had during that time. And still, I just remember that the stage was there, but till today, I don't remember any word that what I spoke at that time or what Baba spoke to me at that time, because it was Baba who was speaking and not me. So these were the experiences that it was because of Dadi that I was able to get in my life. Once it happened so that I went to one of the centers for a program. And Dadi sent me 3 days, okay, you go. And what happened that there was one brother who had built a house for Baba's center. So he said, no, sister, you stay one more day. Just inaugurate this building, and so that you can give it for service, open it up for service. Stay one more day. So I said, no, Dadi has asked me only 3 days. So he said, okay, I'll call Dadi and I'll take permission. But maybe he had tried during those days. We didn't have mobiles or anything, so those landline phones. So he may have tried, but he wasn't able to get through. And I thought he had spoken to Dadi, so I stayed back one day. So one day I came late. She was in the courtyard, and as soon as she saw me coming, she called me. What date did you give me that you're coming back? So I said, yesterday. So you're 24 hours late. Have you ever thought? But I said, the brother must have spoken to you, Dad. She said, nobody spoke to me. So I said, because he forced so much, so I had to stay back one day. Because everyone was saying that, no, you can't upset this brother, you can't upset this brother. But at least you have to inform me. How many thoughts I had about you not reaching here on time. I said, but Dadi, do you remember the date I gave you? She said, why not? I said, because so many Madhuban Nivasis go out, everybody gives you the date. She told me, I remember each one's date when they gave me. And you know how much concerned I was when you not reached here at time? And that was the day when I promised Dadi that this will not happen again from my side. I'll never ever allow you to waste any thoughts about me. So this was the concern that she had for each and every sister who would go out from Madhuban also, or when they come back, she sees that they are arriving on time. Many, many such stories we can share about Dadi and how she makes us instruments. Even when the Dr. Channa Reddy had come, how she made me a Madhuban Nivasi was because of Dr. Channa Reddy, who had come, who was the governor of Rajasthan at that time. And he was given this misinformation that this organization was started in Pakistan. So they still have some links with Pakistan. And they have connections with the terrorism and the government at there. So when this misinformation was given to him, he had asked Dadi, I want to do the course and know about the organization. If someone can come to Raj Bhavan and give me the course. So Dadi was thinking of whom to call at this time because the meditation camps are going on. So Shriluben, Shashiben is busy with that and they cannot spare time to go to Raj Bhavan and give him the course. So that was the time when I entered the courtyard and Vallabh Dada, who used to look after the milk department, he said, Dadi, your tension is over. She has come. Maybe she has met him before in Hyderabad. So she can go there. So she called me and said, how long are you going to stay here? I said, 5 days. And my ticket is after the 5th day. So she said, cancel your ticket and you have to go to the governor's house every day and give him a course till he stays here. He stays 2 months in Mount Abu. So she said, you cancel your ticket and stay 2 months till he's here and give him the course. So I was going every day, and every day she would wait in the courtyard when I come. So 6:30 I would go, 8 o'clock I would come back. Every day she would ask me, so did he ask you anything? I said, nothing. He didn't ask me anything. 7 days were completed. And the 8th day, as soon as I go there, he says, the 7 days course is over. Now I have questions which I would like to ask. So I said, okay, no problem. So he started asking me questions, and the question answer session went on for 2.5 hours, from 6:30 to 8:30, and I returned back at 9 o'clock. And she was standing out in the court, and Munniben again and Dadi, come for dinner, and she would not go. Let that girl come back. Why is she late today? And she would send everyone, go to governor's house. Why is she still not? And anyone who would come there, the secretary would say, the question answers are going on, please, you cannot disturb. No disturbance. So they would return back and tell Dadi there is a question answer session going on. So it is impossible to go inside. They would not allow us. So she didn't go for dinner. She sat there till 9 o'clock in the courtyard. And as soon as I came, she said, come for dinner. You sit with me. What happened today? Why it took so much of time? So I said, Dadi, today was like, a whole questions he was like putting in front of me. So she said, tell me each question and what answer you gave. So I began, this is the question and this is the answer I gave. She would say, yes, right answer. Next question, this is what he asked and this was the answer I gave, right. And then he started asking me about the accounts and many other things, which I was not even aware. As a Brahmin also, I was not even aware of how Dadi would do the expenditure and where she would get and what her connections are with Pakistan till today or everything. He started asking me so many questions. So she said, what answers did you give for that? So I said, I didn't know about it. So I said, I'll ask Dadi and tomorrow I'll come back with answers. She said, perfectly. And then the next day when he came, Dadi said, you invite him to Pandavapuram for lunch. And Moini Ben invited him for lunch and he came. And then Dadi started talking to him and giving him the answers, which I was not able to answer. And he realized that there is so much of deep understanding between the sisters and the Dadis and that the communication, there is no communication gap between them. He realized that. And then one day, it was Thursday, so I said that tomorrow is Thursday and tomorrow Bhog will be offered to Baba. So he asked me, what is Bhog and how is it offered and what happens? So Moini Ben used to go to Bap Dada and to the subtle regions and bring the message. So he wanted to confirm. He said, my grandson has passed away. Can I offer Bhog on his name and can I get a message from him? So I said, why not? Yes. So he came to Madhuban specially the day before and he said to Dadi, I want to offer Bhog. And for that, he had asked me how much money we have to give to offer Bhog. So I said, whatever your desire is, what your bhavna says you can offer that much. So he comes with a packet of money and he says, Dadi, I want to offer bhog. And he gave 25,000 rupees. So Dadi said, you know, how these politicians, they check on us also because we don't receive any government grants or anything. We do not take government money. So he gave that money and he said that this is for the bhog. So Dadi said, we don't accept government money. And he said, but this is not government money. This is my own from my salary. What I get my salary, this is from that salary. I want to offer bhog for my grandson who has passed away. His name was Krishna. And there were some things because he passed away suddenly in an accident. So there were some things that he knows. And he did not communicate to us. And I want to know about that. Can you bring that message? Yeah, he asked Mohini Ben. So she said, okay, I'll ask him. If he answers, I'll definitely bring. So when she offered the bhog and Baba emerged that grandson also. So Mohini Ben asked him the questions and he replied. And when he replied, and when Mohini Ben came and told him, this is what we asked him and this is what reply he has given. And he was astonished because they were the right replies that he had given, because the grandfather and grandson, they only knew about it and no one else. So then he developed faith. And his faith was such that is how Gyan Sarovar was created. You know, because the Gyan Sarovar land was non-convertible. It was agricultural land. It was not convertible for buildings. So then he said, why don't you have an academy here? You should have an academy so that you can train so many people and do this and that. So then we told him that this land is of no use to us because we can't construct. It is in the non-convertible land. So he said, I will do something. And we told him that Rajasthan government is such that they want bribe so much that more than the building, we have to give them the bribe. You know, so we are not feeling like constructing anything over here. We have the desire, but so he said, I'll do it. And it happened so that the Ayodhya temple that issue was going on. And so all the BJP government was like banned in all the states, and there was a president rule, and in the state was the governor rule. So both the governorship chair and the chief minister's chair was in his hands. And he lifted the law for 15 days. He lifted the law, the non-convertible land, lifted that law for 15 days and immediately called Dadi, send all the papers and everything and I'll just sign it, because he had the chief minister's seat also. So he signed everything and in 15 days, and he said, you have to put the force in such a way that you build this in 6 months. And within a month, till the final, till my seat is there, and after 1 month, I think I'll be gone. The new chief minister would come back. So till then, most of the work has to be done. So day and night Gyan Sarovar work was going on. During the daytime, the laborers worked, and night time, all BK youth were invited from all the centers, and the whole night they used to work. All BK youth at night, and during the day the laborers. So this is how within 6 months the structure was created in such a way that nobody can ever say that this law was not there or anything. So he was happy with that, and this is how Gyan Sarovar came into practical form. You know? Yeah.
Not really. I've had so many experiences. When anyone asks me, which is the greatest human being you ever met? For me, it's no hesitation.
Yeah.
I tell them it's Dadi Prakashmani.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Option.